Hello and welcome to Deeper, a podcast where we have conversations with fascinating people who have lived unique lives and a companion piece to our YouTube series, Deep. We want to give you a deeper window into the experiences of our guests, and if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing as there'll be a new one every week. Today we are joined by Roshaante. It's great to have you here, Roshaante.
It's great to be here. Hello everybody, how are you all doing?
We've met before, and when we started up this new studio, you were one of the people that we were really keen to get back in and talk to again because you left a huge impression on us and on lots of viewers across the internet. So firstly, thank you for your time.
No problem.
And I guess a couple of things at the beginning. One of the things I wanted to say is what we're going to talk about today, intersex, is a complex issue and quite a rare condition.
Yep.
If I say anything wrong, if I use the wrong terminology, please do correct me. Here to learn as well. So I know you're an easygoing guy, but...
I am indeed. Easygoing.
Starting from the start, I think a lot of people that come to a video like this might not know what intersex means. So there are older terms which are now outdated and people don't really use anymore.
Exactly.
But in your own words, what does it mean to be intersex?
It's like a battlefield, really. Mixed emotions from a psychological standpoint. From a physical standpoint, it can also mess with the mental health and the mental well-being of yourself on a day-to-day basis because your mind's constantly swapping and changing to what you want to be. Environment and stuff like that can also have a massive impact, as well as, sexual partners, relationships, friendships, and just how you feel about yourself on a day-to-day basis.
And physically, what does it actually mean?
It's about genitalia, really and truly for me. Hence the reason why I had the surgery. I don't know if a lot of you might remember when I always compared myself to a Domino's pizza half and half. That's basically how I felt when I had both a penis and a vagina. Since getting the vagina closed and since just having, both of my penises, I just feel like a man, and, I just try and live as authentic as I can. As a guy, really. Can
we get a list of the organs and the genitalia that you were born with?
So yeah, I was born with inverted testicles, and I had a micro penis, and also a vagina hole from birth. Lucky me.
If someone's watching this who's never heard of you before, how would you introduce yourself? What are you known for?
I'm known for being a nudist and, just living as vulnerable as possible, really, and just bearing my naked truth left, right, and center. We were born naked, so I like to really show off my body a lot. I've done nude shoots with the likes of Harley Weir, and I've also got over 2 million views on my own YouTube channel for being completely butt naked. It's all about just showing off my body. I just love it, and other people love it as well. I've got a very unique looking body, to say the least.
So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 28.
28. Okay. So when you were born 28 years ago, I'm imagining, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm imagining there wasn't loads of information around intersex in schools or taught or things like that. So what was it like growing up? Can you tell us a little bit about how it felt, if it felt different, and when you first started noticing difference?
So there was barely any information back when I was younger about intersex, or being the other term, which is obviously, as I always say, a more derogatory term, hermaphrodite. I always felt like, because I didn't know any different, that I was pretty much normal. Then obviously, as I got older and when puberty hit, I then noticed there was a massive difference between me and other people. And other people pointed it out to me as well. So I've always kind of been like alienated in a way, but also really accepted. It's quite strange. I feel like my overall confidence in the way I'm born and, what my God-given equipment is, that I've just learned to rock it and just accept it. And because of my inner confidence, it's gotten me a lot of love out there, a lot of support. Loads of people love me and understand and think my story is inspirational as hell.
And when you were born, what was your gender designated in the hospital when you left hospital?
So it's normally meant to be just cross for unidentified, but mine, I had F from when I was little, and that got changed when I was 11 to an M.
Okay, so your first few years of life, well, first 11 years, so more than a few, you were referred to as a girl, called a girl, used girls' changing rooms, is that correct?
Incorrect. Basically, because I was androgynous, my parents would allow people to just call me he, because that's what I looked like, and that's how I identified even from back then. I suppose in certain family circle situations, social situations, that's when they would call me a girl because, you know, my outer family did not understand anything to do with intersex, you know, due to religion and due to ignorance. Now they're way more understanding, to be fair. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to get a sense of how it must have felt for your outer family or your parents, because they'd brought you back from birth, being born, and you had an F. So they'd been told you were female.
Exactly.
And then, you know, you had the genitalia that corresponded to a female.
Yeah.
But then from early on, you sort of presented male, like you said, you looked male. That must have been confusing for them, right? Like most people bring home a little girl, they dress, well, you know, this is an old fashioned way of saying it, but they put them in a pink room, they give them little princesses or whatever.
Exactly.
So do you know how your parents sort of were feeling about that?
It all came down to me because of how I felt and the way I dealt with finding out about being intersex. And even before that, when I look at my baby pictures, I was not in like pink or dresses. I was able to wear whatever I wanted to wear and stuff like that. Like my parents weren't forceful at all. And that's why I always say, I feel like they must have subconsciously known. Sometimes you know things about your kid, but you just can't put a name to it because, like I said, even though intersex people have been around for ages, including the angels and all sorts, you know, they are all intersex or, you know, like I said, hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites being the Greek god as well. So just more and more as we got to learn about it, and when we went to different places, met different other parents, you know, not many, but, you know, met other parents that have been through similar situations. Yeah, they kind of just grew a bigger understanding on it, and yeah, it just became more easier over time, really.
I mean, it's great you had that support network, and it sounds like now you're obviously like a hugely confident person.
Yeah.
Were you that when you were younger too? Have you always been very
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I guess that usually when you're growing up, you have something. Like I was really short, so people would say, oh, you know, you're short. I remember one of my friends had like really bad acne, so that was a thing. Another kid was overweight, something like that. So there's always something, but usually you kind of have that in yourself and you think, why am I short? Or am I going to grow more? Or am I going to change? Like, did you ever have that sense of like, feel a little bit different? Or did you, from the beginning, just have a sort of unshakable confidence that protected you from any of that?
Unshakable confidence is a great way to be able to put it of what I have. I have an astounding amount of confidence and self-love for myself. If I could marry myself, I would, but I can't. If that becomes legal, though, I'm doing it. And yeah, I just feel like, you know, I just don't really let anything get to me. Like, I'm 5'8", so I'm not the tallest. I'm not the most biggest. I've not got, you know, like a, I don't know, big nose, prominent jaw, or anything like that. I've got a very, even up till now, a very androgynous look to me, and I just love it. You know, never have I ever felt a way about myself at all. I'm in love with myself, and I feel like I've got good reason to be as well. I'm unique. I'm an individual who knows exactly what they want. And, you know, I'm very open, and I will never stop being open until the day that I die.
Amazing.
Do a statue of me.
Great answer. Okay, great. So you were born, you immediately had that kind of like androgynous look to you, which allowed your parents to sort of let people call you or refer to you as whatever you wanted. But how was that in school? Like, did you notice a difference in terms of, were you playing with football with the boy? I know this sounds very old fashioned, but just school, however many years ago, probably was football with the boys or gymnastics with the girls. That's what it was like when I went to school. You know, how did that work for you?
It worked completely fine. I was one of the best when it comes to sports in my school. I'm amazing at football. I'm amazing at basketball. I'm amazing at badminton, tennis, golf, whatever you name it, I can do it. And in terms of things like gymnastics, you know, I was doing cheerleading where I was a boy and I was lifting up the girls, dashing them in the air, catching them in my arms. Very strong guy. You know, it was all good. You know, I've never had a problem with sports, and I'm better than most of the boys in my school anyway. I'm better than most of them even up to this day.
How were you presenting at that point in time? Like when you were kind of younger in school, like did you have long hair or were you short hair? Like, did you feel like you were presenting as a boy, or were you just literally just yourself and people just took it as they took it?
people took it as how they took it. I had dreadlocks and then I chopped my dreadlocks off. Then I just had an afro. Then after the afro, I just shaved off all my hair, which everybody loved. I had like a little high top. Yeah, the girls loved it, you know. What can I say? I'm just a charmer, absolutely gorgeous guy. I was even better looking when I was in school, to be honest with you. So yeah.
And then when you hit sort of puberty, and obviously it changes into attraction and things like that, you know, how did you see yourself? Like, did you think of yourself as heterosexual or a homosexual or bisexual? And how did other people view it? Like, because you were classed as a girl still at this point, you know, were boys that would see themselves as straight, were they finding you attractive, or were they seeing you as a mate? You know, can you just talk us through that a little bit?
All right, so a couple of stories really quick. I had a girl that I was dating. I was 16, she was 24. Call it what you like. And one of her male best friends took a shine to me. He's straight, you know, but he took a shine to me. I actually thought that them two were cheating. You know, them two were sleeping with each other and I was getting cheated on. But it turned out the guy liked me and tried it on with me. And I was young myself at this time as well. And I was like, whoa. But what can I say? Men and women both love me. Straight, lesbian, gay, bi, anything. I always would say that I'm bisexual. I mean, bisexual, man, people think I'm bisexual. I'm pansexual. But like I said, now I feel like I just feel like I'm just straight. I just want to get married and straight and boom and that and nothing else really. I don't want to complicate things anymore than things are already complicated. Yeah.
What does pansexual mean to you?
So pansexual is when you just love anybody, really. It doesn't really matter about their gender, race, anything like that, you know. There's also sapiosexual, which I was back in 2018. Sapiosexual when you fall in love with the mind, because I was going through a phase when, you know, I was really spiritual and really falling in love with people's minds, their vibe, their energy, all of that kind of stuff, man. I'm a really deep guy. I'm being serious.
That's amazing. So falling in love with someone's mind, I've actually never heard of that before, sapiosexual, that term.
I got a song called Sapiosexual. It's out with Sunita.
So does that mean that you can fall in love with someone completely regardless of how they look?
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with the way anyone looks at all. It's all about the mind. You fall in love with the way the person's thought processes, the relatability in their life and yours, all of that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful sexuality to adopt.
Interesting. And I've got, I'm thinking about you at school still. We will move on from it in a minute, but I'm thinking about you at school and I'm thinking about so I've got a daughter who's mixed race and some of the comments that other parents make at times, I'm a bit like, that's a stupid thing to say, even though I don't think they're meaning it like that. I just think about stuff before you say it.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining you experience some of the same stuff from parents, kind of asking questions or asking things of a kid. Did you get anything like that?
So like with my daughter, she's obviously the most famous girl in her school because of me. And the parents will watch me everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. I'm on every social media platform, every app there is. And, you know, so they be watching me and stuff like that. They be filming me, you know, going into the school. They film me at like my daughter's sports day. I can't get away from them and their cameras. However, like they don't really question me. It's more of a thing of they're starstruck. They can't believe they're seeing me because a lot of people don't even believe that I'm from the UK. They think I'm American or something because, you know, I'm breaking boundaries in the UK. I'm trying to set tones and I'm trying to, you know, bring the UK up to speed. We got to get better. We got to have somebody that's a good face to be able to watch, to be able to do what I do when I'm educating the masses. Come on now.
And what about when you were younger though? You know, did you have parents of the other school kids saying things to your parents or saying things to you as a child, like saying,
yeah.
You know, how did that go?
My dad, you know, he's the most known person around our area and some of his friends would have completely forgotten that he had a daughter and they'd just be like, oh, you know, oh my God, your son looks just like you and all this kind of stuff and son, oh, you little boy, all this stuff. And my dad would just go with it because, you know, sometimes I don't think he even realized what was going on. But I heard it and I was like, you know, yeah, I'd roll with it as well. I'd be like, yeah, man, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was always dressed in boys' clothes. I didn't look like a girl, so I can't blame them. But yeah, I came across loads of different comments from my friends' parents and stuff like that all the time. You know, they would constantly, do you sit down or do you stand up to go toilet? Do you? I'm just like, listen, yo, relax. I'm a kid. Stop, like, you know, asking me all these questions, man. You're sexualizing me in a way as well, man. It's a bit creepy.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's a good point, actually. If everything comes back to the genitalia, then it is got that element, hasn't it?
100%. Like, I didn't feel uncomfortable at the time, but when I think about it now, I'm like, boy, you put up with way too much, man. You should have told them, get lost and mind your own business. Drink water.
I've never heard that before, drink water.
Drink water and mind your business.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, just drink water and mind your business. Literally, key to a happy life.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned just then that you were dating a lady that was slightly old, well, quite a lot older, and then one of her male friends took a shine to you. Mm-hmm. Do you think at that point in your life, if a man took a shine to you, as you said, then I know I'm asking very binary questions. I'm just thinking of a big general audience watching this, but would a man taking a shine to you at that point in your life, would you have considered him gay? Or do you think that what you were, just redefines what that means?
That's a serious question. I would say I have a Delilah energy. Delilah energy is basically when you possess this really feminine aura, which can kind of entice anyone, male or female anyway. And that got in the way of a lot of my friendships, including the one with my ex's best friend who took a shine to me. And they always didn't realize what it was, why they were so attracted to me. And it was a bit more than just, you know, that I look good. Because of the energy that I possess, I could pretty much have anyone I want, then and now.
And do you think that's like you mentioned, you're a spiritual person, but do you think that's because you had some sort of female aura as well as a male aura? Like Delilah energy, like I'm just trying to get into that a little bit more in terms of, you know, if men that would consider themselves straight usually would find you attractive, do you think that because you were born with both sides of it, you were kind of in possession of some sort of aura?
I'm going to get to the point. Yeah. It's because I got a big booty, stuff like that. Like these guys they'd be liking big booties and all that stuff. And because I got a nice, once again, I don't think I don't feel like I look like a guy. I feel like I look still like I could just be both. If I just shaved off the beard, wig, boom, hot girl. But like, you know, I feel like their guys would probably say that they're gay straight away because obviously I sound and look like a guy and all that kind of stuff. But back then when I had both, it could be argued against. I would say that they're just bisexual and they also are curious. Curiosity killed the cat. But in my case, curiosity had all these guys hooked and all these females hooked. It's crazy and it still is, guys. I can't even walk down the street. Trust me. I'm conscious because when I'm walking, I know that my booty, people are staring at it. I'll be walking, I know that the girls are staring at, you know, the front package and the package down there. It's just crazy. For real.
Hard life.
Hard not life when you're Roshaante Anderson, man, being half and half. Crazy.
So what was the point in your life that you first heard the term intersex, or that you first realised you might be something that you could classify with a medical term? Sure.
Year 5 with a very popular singer, Sierra. There was this rumor going around that she was a hermaphrodite. It turns out that I really don't think she is. I don't know where the rumor came from. But when it did come out, everybody immediately looked to me because this is what I'm trying to say. Even before I found out I was intersex, people already thought that I was a boy, girl. Like it was always he, she. Boy, girl. Like, that's what people used to call me from even back then. And it's funny now that we've got the actual terminology to it. Yeah, it's mad.
So this rumor came out in school, and then everyone started saying, "Oh, maybe that's what Roshaante is."
Yeah, they all looked at me straight away.
Right, and then did you feel like, in your head, were you like, "Oh God, maybe that's what I am"? Or for you, was it just a Tuesday? You were just like, "Oh right, there's a word." Or was it a moment of realization, or was it nothing?
First of all, I was stupid enough to believe it without actually doing any proper research because I was a kid. I didn't care. But at the same time, yeah, I did kind of feel like maybe that's me because I didn't really understand the full. The full magnitude of what was being said. You know, obviously I always say to people, even up to this day, if I had the choice to be transgendered where there is such a different community, where there's more people that understand transgender, especially in this day and age, then, you know, I would have loved to be able to fit into that category. However, if I was transgendered, I would not have changed my gender. I would have stayed as whatever I was assigned at birth, if there was no complications, like, for example, having cross-sex hormones.
You sort of had that moment of realization, didn't care too much. One of the things that interested me when we met last time was you were saying that as you grew up, you were kind of some days presenting male, some days feeling more feminine, and just letting it come and go as it pleased. But do you think that then part of it is a mindset as well? As in, if you could you dress the same way, but you feel like you're still presenting feminine by the way you're acting, or would you dress differently? Like, talk us through that a little bit.
Hypermasculinity has been dashed in the bin. If I want to act feminine and dress, you know, like how I am now, hoodie, tracksuit, suit, whatever, I'm going to do that. I can act feminine and as much as I like, because I can adopt that personality, because I have a right to. You know, if I want to go and be silly and put on, you know, a female friend's clothes and walk around and, you know, it looks crazy because my muscles are bursting out at the top and I'm about to tear it, and, you know, I could do that too. Like, I'm just so comfortable with how I am, you know. I hope that makes other people within their skin, no matter what they're going through, feel the same way as well. Like, you've not got to be hypermasculine or adopt some toxic masculinity to be viewed as a macho man. This hyper male stuff needs to be thrown away somewhere, because it just ain't working. You know, I think some of the best people out there are people that can be very diverse, like Prince, like me. Yeah.
What was the point where you decided to, you know, move away from, without being too crude about it, and please pick me up if there's any bits that are too crude, but could you have sex with men and women in your younger life?
Of course I can.
Right. So you could have sex like through a vagina, and you could use your penis to have sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So can you talk to us about that a little bit? As in, when you were in your either, you know, the earlier life, 20s, something like that.
Yeah.
What would be the decision about, you know, whether you're going to present as a male and try and have sex as a man, or present as a female and have sex as a female? You know, what was like the mind of Roshaante at that point? Was it you just woke up and you thought, like, I'm feeling this way today?
Yeah.
Or would it be there was an individual that you liked, so you'd go after that individual?
And also I'd wake up and just feel horny. So when I wake up and feel horny, I could have sex with anyone that's on my mind. It doesn't matter about the gender. I don't care, especially not back then. You know, I'm going to be real. But, you know, I did have my eyes set on, like, there'd be certain partners I'd have sex with. Doesn't matter the gender. I would always go back to them because the sex would be amazing. So I knew that I wouldn't be disappointed or anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a bit of both. But I suppose, like, now it's just because of my equipment, it would just be like women. Like, yeah, I'm a complete, total slag.
Didn't think that was how you're going to end that sentence. Unashamedly so.
Full of surprises.
Okay. So what age was it you decided to have your vagina closed and have the operation to become, you know, physically male?
22, they dashed my vagina in the bin. And then obviously now I've just got the 2 penises. I had to leave the micro penis because you don't even want to know how good it feels.
Okay, so we're just going to go into that a little bit more, because for people who haven't heard your story and might be coming for the first time, what you've just said there as a sentence is quite astounding when you talk about 2 penises, closing vaginas. So you had a micro penis,
Yeah.
and you had a vagina,
Yeah.
and you decided to go for an operation to close the vagina,
Yeah.
and to talk us through it.
Leave the micro penis alone. Leave it alone, because, you know, in surgery, things can get damaged, nerves could get destroyed, sensation goes. You're leaving it alone, is what I said to the surgeon straight away. And it's amazing because then I've got the bigger one that's in front. So a lot of the time, I'm aroused by my own penis. It's so complicated and it's so complex. If you want me to, you know, point it out for you and really go and divulge into that, I can.
Well, I'm sure people can follow your Insta for that kind of. But
OnlyFans.
So you've got. Have you got an OnlyFans?
Yeah, I have OnlyFans.
Do you?
Yeah, I have OnlyFans. $20.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 penises now.
Yeah.
When we were talking earlier about the sort of organs you were born with, did you have breasts?
Yeah. I had like A cup, but it was still jiggly.
Okay. Yeah. So you really had everything.
Yeah.
You had both sets of reproductive organs.
Yep.
Yeah. Is your case an extreme case, or are there lots of people who are born with the organs that you had?
No. So in the late 60s, right round to the early 2000s, it was 2%. Since I came and did all of the work I've done on TV and social media, speaking out on intersex people worldwide, it's now at 7%. So that's a dramatic 5% increase since I started talking about it. If you go and you go to a sexual health clinic, Intersex is there now. If you're at the doctor's, Intersex is there now. Housing, Intersex is there now. To be able to describe yourself just like you do with race and religion, Intersex is also now down on how you want to identify yourself, and it wasn't there before I started coming on TV talking about it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So why in a world where these days people can identify as lots of different things and that's acceptable?
Yeah.
Why do you think people are afraid of identifying as intersex or speaking out about the fact that they're intersex?
Because the God's honest truth is, when you're born intersex, you're just used to yourself, yeah? And you don't want to complicate things anymore. A lot of people don't want to be ridiculed for something that they can't help. So they just prefer to just live stealth. I don't always think it's even about shame or anything. I think it's about privacy. With me, I'm an open book. So this is the reason why I'm breaking barriers left, right, and center to make sure that people understand you can have an intersex child. You might not know straight away from the birth. And I want to be the person that people can look at as representation to that, with how candidly I speak and how open and honest I am.
I mean, there's an irony in what I'm about to say, because I'm here doing an interview with you where I'm asking you a ton of very invasive personal questions. But
no problem.
Do you think that in terms of being intersex, because it is quite an unknown condition to a lot of people, do you think there's a sense that if people know that's what you are, everyone just wants to ask? Do you find that in your life?
Every single day, to the point where now, if I'm not getting paid or it's not benefiting me, I'm like to my friends, look, ask me one more question, I'm going to charge you $2,000 because it's just too much. Even yesterday, I said to one of my friends, I said, listen, if you ask me one more question, I have 1,000 people a day, that's at minimum, asking me about this or talking to me about it. And I thought I moved away from talking about it, to be fair, because I've got so many talents. I'm so talented. I've got loads of things I can do. Intersex is just something that, I'd say it's a gift. It's something where I can educate, and it's something that I rock and I embody really well, to be honest. Yeah.
So, obviously, we're doing a video about it now, but in general, do you see yourself moving away from talking about it, or are you happy to be a spokesperson?
I'm happy to be a spokesperson for life, 100%. There's so much that goes into it that people don't realize. I think even the mental aspect of it is so important, because it can really, it could be the make or break to whether you want to be alive and, in living your truth, or whether it's too much for you. You can't be here and
Can you tell us about that a bit? How does the
mental aspect
play in?
I've had dark days. I've had dark days where I'm just like, loads of people on a certain social media app will just be self-projecting. They hate the fact that I'm so confident. They hate the fact that I'm so sure of myself. So they will do anything they can to be able to belittle me in me being my authentic self. I was with an agency. I was meant to be doing my book, which took a year, and it was Scars Made the Man. Very powerful book. And I didn't even complete that. And I left the agency due to the fact that I couldn't handle the pressure of the amount of scrutiny that people were giving me from fake profiles, trolls, online accounts. And I have so much support and so many people that love me. But when there's so much negativity and you don't know where it's coming from, who it's coming from, it puts you off. But I'm back in business now, and ain't no one going to be able to deter me.
And why do you think people? Because we've made content with a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life, and sexuality stuff just does draw so many trolls.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any idea why that is?
The reason why it is because people don't understand it. And it's down to a lot of, it's really down to religion, let's be real, a lot of the time for a lot of people. The way that they were raised, you know, what they saw or have seen, their environment once again as well. If you go to Brighton, for example, you're more likely to be accepted as a gay man than if you go to Brixton. So it's just all about it's all about teaching these people. That's why people like me are so important while we're here, because I won't stop educating people. I've educated so many people, it's ridiculous. I've saved so many lives, it's unbelievable. You wouldn't believe it unless you read and saw some of the work that I do and listened to it. I've changed people's lives who are evangelists, who are Muslim, who are, you know, Islam extremes, everything, you name it. I've changed their way of thinking about it. You know, I normally, just like I said, I explain it in a way of that hermaphrodites, intersex people have been about for centuries. And, you know, in certain countries, we are literally, we are worshipped. So yeah, westernized countries, not so much, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, when we met you before, we did a piece when we worked at Lad Bible, and that got a huge amount of views.
Yeah, man.
And
huge amount of work as well, seriously.
Off the back of the video?
Because of that video,
wow.
It was crazy. I had some girls in Bad Girls Club in America, Tanisha, she shared it. She put it up on her Instagram. I was like, what? Because I love Tanisha. I was like, wow, man. So many people shared that video. So many celebrities shared that video who I look up to. And I was just like, wow, my story's really doing that. And in the comments, like, just so much love. People were so shocked that I was getting so much love, because it's not every, you could, in this life, you do anything, bad or good, so much hate, but people were just fascinated, blown away.
So that was what I was going to bring up, because the comments were really positive.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that because we've done people with from lots of different walks of life and lots of different types of sexuality and experience in those areas. I was kind of interested when I was reading through them. There was two things I thought. One was that I thought people must feel, if they feel different in themselves and they feel different every day and they feel like they're hiding a secret, when they're scrolling through the internet, if they come across someone like you who's incredibly confident and proud to be the thing that they are, that must make a big impact on them.
Huge. It opens the minds to people who are hiding even the smallest minute thing about themselves because they are scared to be judged. You know, I dare to be judged and I do what I want. I say what I want, just like I said in my intro in my YouTube videos, and I will forever be that and do that. I will stand by myself as a overly confident, happy-go-lucky geezer, definitely.
Well, that was the second bit I was going to bring up when you say geezer, because I think, like, I'm trying to say this in a gentle way, but quite often when we've done videos in the past and the people have gotten hate, I feel like the subjects of the video, if it was to do with sexuality, the men that are trolling them are because they feel like they can bully them. Whereas the topic you were talking about was to do with sexuality, but you look like quite an intense person and someone that might kick your head in if you sort of like
I am. A lot of people are very frightened of me.
Well, that's
Shouldn't
it.
be. I'm a lovely guy.
But do you think that kind of, do you think there's that kind of thing where you having a certain intensity to you keeps people back a little bit?
Or... Oh, it does. Yeah, it does. It's the way I speak. The way someone like me with the way I speak and you're listening to me, man, like it's hilarious. You can't not help but either be like, whoa, or just laugh, because I just don't care. I don't hold back. I don't hide anything. I speak very straightforward and very blunt, very to the point. And that's just how I am.
And you look like, you know, you've got quite a striking look. You've got the contacts, which you told me a minute ago, your eyes are actually better than...
My eyes are better than you.
Yeah. You've got all the tattoos and that kind of thing. And in a lot of ways, you seem like someone who's trying to draw attention to themselves.
Yep.
So it's interesting that you've gone through, like, at the start of your life, you were someone that was dealt a card that might have made you want to shy away and hide.
Yeah.
But if anything, you've sort of, like, through social media and the way you present yourself, you've drawn more attention to yourself.
Oh yeah. There's no getting away from being Roshaante Anderson. I can tell you that for free. My tattoos are an expression of myself as well. A lot of it tells my story also. And yeah, I mean, being this intersex guy who's internationally known, can't walk down the street, can't go anywhere. It doesn't ever stop. Yeah.
Fair enough. And the other thing that I wanted to get onto is when we spoke last time, you had a baby. And we weren't going to talk about it at that point in time. But I think the story has sort of been put out there since. And I just wanted to speak to you a little bit about that. Can you talk us through, because let me ask the question, like, could you're the father, right?
I'm the father. I'm the mummy daddy, yeah? You lot can call me mummy daddy. I don't care. My job was getting my daughter to this earth, and I had options and to be able to do that. But let's be real, man. I wanted to have full control. So whatever, baby came from me, judge me if you will, but I wasn't giving a damn about anybody's opinions when I was having my kid. Not only that, but she came out perfectly. We almost died on the operating table, but nonetheless, she looks just like me. She's an amazing kid, and she's just like her daddy. Mommy, daddy, whatever the hell you want to call me. I don't care. Either way, I'm a great parent, and my daughter loves me more than anything in the world, and I love her more than life and air itself. So yeah.
And so you gave birth to your daughter?
Yeah, I did. I had preeclampsia and all that rubbish as well. So yeah, I lost teeth when I was carrying my child and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really difficult, It's even difficult up to this day because since it all came out about, the way I had my child, there'll be people like when Mother's Day comes, they'll be like, Happy Mother's Day. And I'm just like, because the thing is, it's weird. I'm living as a man now, but I am still connected to my female side. Part of my female side would mean that I could either give birth to a child or I could give a woman my child to carry. That I've done also in the past too. I donated all my eggs, so I've got kids out there. I've got my own child as well. There are women right now that are looking to want to carry my kid because they just want a kid that looks like me. I'm an interesting person, so people can't take that away from me no matter how I do differently, how I'm different with my life. You might not understand it. You might not get it. You might think it's weird. You might think it's disgusting. I don't care. Because essentially, when I'm older and I'm lonely and I ain't got no kids, but everybody else has got kids and I'm running around happy, no one's going to be there to support me when I'm there, depressed because I've not got my own child for myself. So, yeah, I did it all for me and my kid.
So you gave birth to the child?
Yeah.
And who provided the sperm?
So I did IVF. I got free IVF because I donated a couple of cycles of my eggs, and I could carry a child straight away. It worked first time basically, with no complications at all.
Wow. I mean, it must be one of the very, very few people in the world that have gone through that experience.
I am pretty much probably one of the only people in the UK. I'm probably one of the first people in the UK. I've never heard of a story like mine before in my life. So as crazy as it is to everybody else, imagine how I feel. Yeah.
So you had IVF?
Yeah.
And whose sperm was it?
So you just get to choose basically. You go into a room, you click onto the computer, it has the face, it has the height, it has the origin, ethnicity, all that kind of stuff, and yeah.
But there's no connection between you and the donor?
No, there's no connection.
Okay.
It just be me by myself.
Right. I mean, it's an incredible sort of story, and
thank you.
Obviously, I'm not going to talk about your daughter too much because children should be kept private.
Yeah, of course she goes to school and stuff. You know how these kids be. Say anything to my kid and it's on.
There's that intense side again. But you decided to do that, and it is interesting because you very much present as a male, and I think you said earlier that you want to just be a male, and I think I can't remember how you phrased it in your own colourful way, but basically you want to just be one side now, which is a male. But at the same time, you must have this tie to the female side of you because you've done something that literally no man can do. Yeah.
It kills me sometimes looking at my old pictures and stuff. I always think to myself, what would I have looked like if I'd just been a woman? I'm not being funny. I would have been so beautiful. Like, come on now. Like, this is what I'm saying. So, but it's not all about looks as well. Like, I just know I would have had I would have had a sugar daddy, I would have had a husband, and I would have had about 17,000 men with loads of money running after me. And like this, it's kind of the opposite now. I'm the provider. I'm the one that likes to make the money and do the running after.
And do you think that'll ever change? Because you started female and you had a period of sort of in the middle somewhere, and now you're very much presenting male. But do you think there's a world where you could go, just do you know what, I'm going to go back the other way a little bit?
I couldn't. That's the saddest part. When you embark on surgery, you pretty much sign that side away. There is no such thing as reversing phalloplasty surgery, unfortunately. So even if I wanted to do that, I couldn't. My voice would never go back to being even a tiny bit higher. My facial hair would still be there. I'd have to have electrosis on my face. The hair, like the whole body, everything's just, it's done. It's done. I'm a man forever. So even if people, you know, want to make jokes and say what they like, at the end of the day, I was brave enough to go through 200 hours plus worth of surgery to, you know, live like this, you know, one of the first. And,
200 hours?
200 hours, yeah.
Talk us through some of the bits, like you mentioned the facial hair and stuff, but what do they do to you?
So the facial hair and stuff, like I already had facial hair, but yeah, when you go on hormones, you can go on Sustanon, Libido. There's a magnitude of different hormone therapy, replacement therapy you can go on. But yeah, I was on Sustanon to begin with, and that just that made my body more straight than more like curvaceous. And the facial hair I already had anyway. My voice was already pretty much deep, but it does thicken the facial hair. It does thicken the vocal cords and all that stuff. So that's what makes you, you know, more like looking like an elder male than looking like a young boy, basically. So yeah, the hormones did help. With the surgery, like I always explain in all of my videos, all of my interviews, you know, you do have quite a few stages. If you have complications, you have even more stages. I had a complication every single stage, which means that I had even more surgery, more hours added on than the average person who suffers with no complications, etc. And I also made sure that I didn't have a nurse or nothing after surgery. I'd basically leave the hospital and I'd look after myself. So yeah, I healed myself back to being able to function.
And at the point that you decided to start that process of the hundreds of hours of surgery and, you know, medication and all that stuff, could you have gone the other way? Could you have decided I'm going to go female, and could you have taken the surgery and the medication and those kind of things in the opposite direction?
Yeah, totally. Of course I could have. I could have done the complete opposite. You know, I could have taken estrogen tablets instead. I could have had estrogen patches or gel or stuff like that. I could have had like breast augmentation surgery. I could have had a BBL, Brazilian butt lift. I could have had whatever I wanted, even though I don't really need a Brazilian butt lift because my butt's big enough as it is. Yeah, there's loads of things I could have done. I could have still had, you know, like my facial hair lasered off as well, because I've always had a moustache. I could have just practiced making my voice more high and sounding a bit more feminine, and yeah, I could have went either or, yeah.
And it's interesting because you had experiences that most people will never have.
Yeah.
You've experienced two sides, and then you made a decision to let go of one side of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've lost part of yourself through that?
100%. Yeah. I don't remember what I used to sound like at all. You know, essentially I killed off the female side to me, especially when I went under the knife and had surgery, definitely. I do feel a lot of deep regret sometimes about that because I feel bad, not for myself, but for my family a lot of the time, because even though they're so proud of me and, you know, they're so loving and such a great family, I just sometimes feel like, you know, I would have maybe lived a more better, fulfilled life as a female instead of living as a male and getting into some of the trouble that, you know, guys can find themselves in more so, you know, with the law, with, you know, day-to-day things, the challenges that, you know, most men have, you know, the bravado, the ego, everything, yeah.
That's really interesting because we talked to you a little bit earlier about your experiences as presenting as male or female and how they felt, and overwhelmingly the male one came out as having the more positive experience in terms of careers, being in control in relationships, those kind of things. But you said there that you feel like you might have lived a simpler life if you had pursued the female side.
Definitely. When it comes to anything legal, anything with the law, you know, like in the eyes of the law, personally, this is just what I believe from what I know. You know, females do get an easier time when it comes to anything to do with law versus men.
So do you think you would have been a calmer person if you'd gone that way?
Yeah, much calmer. Testosterone does give you roid rage, and I was already quite angry before. That's why I grew up on martial arts and stuff to try and center that. You know, so yeah, I'm trying to maintain calm and composure all the time.
Where do you personally, you know, obviously we're not asking for some sort of like gender studies thing or anything. I'm just asking for your personal opinion, but
Yeah.
where do you see gender in terms of these days in the world? People are becoming a lot more open to the idea of it being a spectrum and less about it being two binary options. And what's interesting to me is in that debate, I feel like somebody like yourself almost just closes the debate down because the thing that people always debate over on the more right-wing side is saying, well, you can't just decide what you are. It's not a mental thing. You're born one way or you're born the other. There's only two. But you were born essentially with everything.
Yep.
And you could have chosen which way you went, or you could have stayed as everything.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering if you have any sort of opinion on that sort of gender spectrum debate, and if you feel like that there are male and female energies, or do you think it's just one big thing and we're all somewhere on that sort of line in terms of the energy that we have as people?
It's all about energy, yeah, definitely. I think I feel like that whole there can only be like woman or man, boy or girl is obviously, you know, due to people like myself, you know, we defy the odds with that anyway. You know, non-binary and stuff like that and gender fluid, you know, I'm only just starting to learn now myself because I didn't really totally understand it, if I'm honest. But I do get that some people, you know, they don't even want to be called a gender because they feel like they are just like a spirit. And a lot of the time, because they're a free spirit and they don't want to be, you know, restricted. They don't want to be put down as just one gender or, you know, or even both. For example, like myself, I could just turn around right now and say, hey, I feel like a woman because my energy is presenting right now as a woman. I'm using my hands are moving. I'm a woman. My neck's moving. I'm talking in a more higher inflection, blah, 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 blah. So, or I could go more deeper and I could sit like this and I could just be chilling and be like, yeah, I'm a man and this is what I believe in and I don't believe in anything else other than, you know, most intersex people just being whatever genitals that they had, whatever. So for example, if they had like a vagina, you know, and boobs, they should just be a woman. It's easier. But then mentally, they might feel more like a man. So that's how we get it. You know, a lot of it's really complex, man. This whole thing, really complex.
It is. And do you think that it's becoming less complex in the sense that if you were born now in 2024, do you think you would have had a different experience to your childhood? Do you think there's more understanding and compassion around difference in gender and sexuality? Or do you think people are people?
Nah, it's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse.
Wow.
When I was younger, I feel like I set the tone. I keep, not to blow my own horn all the time, but seriously, I set the tone to being intersex and what it means to be intersex. Nowadays, you know, if someone was to come out and say that they're intersex, they would often say, oh, well, I've watched Roshaante Anderson and, you know, he's like my hero and this is the reason why I can now come out and, you know, say that I'm intersex and blah, 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 blah. However, they're still ridiculed and they're still scrutinized. I've never been ridiculed, scrutinized, anything like that until social media. A lot of the time, you know, people just bang on about what they believe and what they feel like you are and stuff like that. We just need to just, you know, bring a lot of inclusivity back into the world and, you know, understand that everyone is different in their own right.
That's really interesting that you feel like it's getting worse.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's more in your face. It's more in your face. Now they want to teach it to children. Children are a sensitive subject as it is to a lot of parents. It's just gonna it's like car crash in front of your face. What are they doing? I don't know. But they're obviously making it very difficult for people like myself, people that are trans, people that identify as non-binary and asexual when it comes to sexuality, bi, lesbian, gay. It's just all getting a bit too much because, you know, they're trying to make it like something where people can view it like just by switching on EastEnders or Holby City or Hollyoaks or Corinth, wherever people watch, man. But really and truly, it needs to be out there in a way to show, that this is what is going on right now, but away from the children.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, away from the children, man.
Really? So even the stuff that you teach, would you remove that from kind of like sex education? Would you remove that from children completely?
To be fair, not with being intersex, even though it is going to go straight back to genitalia, I don't think intersex should be removed. Only reason because that person in that primary school that's watching could be intersex, and then bam, there's a representation. However, if it's something like, and they're going to come for me now in every sense of the matter, but if it's something like, being transgendered, which is, I would say, and a lot of people would say, is up to choice. Then you'd have all these different kids in class. Oh, you'd have the girls. Oh, I want to be a boy because, I'm not really feeling like being a girl because I'm being bullied by the girls because I'm not girly enough. You'd have the girls, you'd have the boys, sorry. I feel like I would look good with long hair. My mummy likes me having long hair and I look very girly. And because people mistake me for a girl, then, maybe I should be a girl. It's really confusing. If you just let the kids be the kids and you don't force it in front of their faces, then yeah. But like I said, with intersex, it's not that. It's a chromosome defect from birth. It's not something you can help.
And you're a single parent now, are you? Is that correct?
I'm a single parent. Yeah.
And do you see yourself as, you mentioned earlier that sometimes people say Happy Mother's Day and you don't really like that. But do you see yourself as someone who is a father, or do you see yourself as someone who's able to provide both sides of the parental spectrum?
I do my daughter's hair. I could do the whole girly things in terms of like music. I can do the whole like being sassy, being cute, like, making my daughter laugh like that. Or I can do the whole, the masculine side, which is the protective side. On my forehead, I've got protective energy for a reason. And, I can, do the whole, work on that 4-pack, which is what I say to my daughter when she's working out. And yeah, lift them weights and let's do karate and let's do boxing and all that stuff and yada, yada, yada. So, everybody, no matter if they're intersex or not, really need to adopt this personality where they could just do both and they're not just labeled to one thing due to gender, man. It's 2024. God damn it, let's go.
And in terms of your daughter's experience being born and your experience of giving birth to your daughter, is that something that you'll tackle with her when the moment's right, or is that something from the beginning you've been telling her?
I told my daughter years ago when she was 3 years old, I don't care what no one thinks about that, neither. I kept it honest with my daughter from the jump because why wouldn't I? Even up to this day, she still does not believe it. So she asks me questions all the time. I won't go into the questions, but like, she don't believe it. I don't blame her because she's just seeing me as like her daddy, She's like, oh, daddy, your muscles are getting bigger. And oh, daddy, I feel so safe in your arms at night when we're together, anything, what I'm saying? My daughter does not see anything to do with women when it comes to me. It's funny as well, because in my parents' living room, we've got my picture when I was in nursery, my daughter's picture, and we're obviously twins, but at the same time, like, once again, androgynous. But my daughter, she'd be like, oh, daddy, you look very girly in that picture. But then if you look at certain boys these days, they also look like very girly. They look like a mom, innit? They look girly.
And you seem like you're so confident, and, you speak very well and very quickly. You've obviously got the thoughts that you've thought through a lot, and you've got your thoughts in order. Yeah. Do you think that you have vulnerabilities as a person?
Nah, not really. No. You can't look like a man, carry a child in South London and have any vulnerabilities. I'm one of the strongest, most in your face, craziest, but also sane when I want to be people you could ever meet. A lot of people are very intimidated by my level of confidence. That's fine. That's cool. I mean? Like, let it do what it do. I'm just here to make people feel comfortable within themselves and to teach them something. I'm only here to educate. I'm not here to be judged, man. But if you want to judge, just know I'll be judging you straight back.
Fair enough. What's your what would be your message to someone that's watching this, who does feel different, and they're watching this and for the first time in their life they're going, oh my God, this is what it is. This is what I've realised what the difference is. And it's the first time that a young person is listening to these words and hearing it. What would you want to say to them?
just embrace it, understand it, get to know yourself, figure out who you are as a person, get down to the doctors, see if you could potentially be intersex. If you are and you've got any like differences about yourself, head off to an endocrinologist. They'll be able to help you out and tell you what's going on, man. Get them x-rays done, get anything relevant that needs to be done to, so you're sure of yourself, you know what's going on. Just stay cool, man. Life is short. Just be easy. You know what I'm saying? Don't feed into anything too much if you are experiencing difference with yourself. If you feel like you're more unique than others, or there might be something wrong with you. There ain't nothing wrong at all, man. Like I said before, everyone's different. Just live in your truth and be you, and just do it positively and do it properly.
So what's next for you? What are your hopes for the future?
8-figure deal. I want an 8-figure deal and fly me out to America. I want to be flown out to America for work purposes only. And I want to travel. I want to teach the world about myself and other intersex people. I'd love to be able to meet them. I've met them online. People have come up to me in the street who are intersex, you know what I'm saying? And all kinds of stuff. But I want to make it so big, so global. Everything I do goes viral, guys. So don't be surprised if you see my face every single day for the rest of your life, man. Let's keep it going. Let's keep up the vibe, man. Let's go.
You've been, have you been on TV? Am I right about that?
I've been on TV, baby.
Yeah. Did you do a Channel 4 doc or did that? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did a Channel 4 documentary, BBC, ITV, everything. Let's go.
Yeah. How was that? Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, man. Great experience. I traveled far for that and stuff, man. It was really, really good. It was really good, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, look, Roshaante, you are a really fascinating character, and it's really interesting to talk to someone who's had sort of an experience that not many people have had in the world. There's not that many people that you meet that you can have genuinely had an experience that very few people have had.
Yep.
Thank you so much for giving us your time again. And it's really good to catch up with you again.
Yeah, it's lovely seeing you again as well, man.
And
really
wishing you all the best for the future.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you very much, man.
I'll give a handshake on that.